Good afternoon, good morning, good day, and good whatever to you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kaelaris, and today I'm going to be bringing you a game between EGHuK, the absolute beast Protoss, practicing in Korea, recently making the move over to EG. What a fantastic move. I love EG, I love HuK, so that's all good there. And against my friend, FadeSG, who I have cast many a time. He was Protoss for a long time, did make the switch over to Terran, now in Grandmasters as his Terran. I'm not quite sure of his exact rank, but I think he was like 74th last time I checked on the EU server. And this was at a time that HuK was visiting for IEM, playing there. Sadly, he didn't do as well as he should have done, but indeed he was playing on ladder, and my friend matched up against him. So, we are going to have, indeed, a TVP on Shakuras Plateau here. I absolutely love this map for this TVP extravaganza we're about to witness, and I just... this is going to be a game and a half, ladies and gentlemen. My friend sent me this game. He was like, oh, look who I get to play HuK. But nowadays, he's playing loads of superstars on ladder, so, can't blame him for, being happy about playing HuK at least. So... Indeed, so it looks like HuK's going to be opening pretty standard here. No cheese going to be going on just yet, as Fade recently is also, even is going to be, that was like the worst sentence ever, but nevertheless, we're going to be blocking off the top of his ramp here, and whenever I see this as a Protoss player, I'm always thinking, wow, Void Rays would be sure fun here, but I don't think HuK's going to be going for anything like that. His play is far more solid, not going to be risking anything on any kind of one-base shenanigans, I don't think, and going to be sending that probe out to do a little bit of scouting. So we do have EGHuK's gas up. I keep saying EGHuK, but I really should say EGHuK. I'll just say HuK, that'll do. And throwing that pylon in the background, just so you can kind of, put any tech that he wants to put there, make it a little bit harder for a Terran to scout if needs be. And Fade also going to be sending his SCV out with his wall complete here. And the big thing for Protoss in this position is the fact that he's really not going to be able to get up the ramp, not going to be able to see if there is any gas going down in the back of the Terran's base. And that's really what HuK wanted to see there. That gas will tell, a Protoss player a lot about what is going on with a Terran. And it will also, make them play in a different way. Does he have gas? If so, might not want to go for that expansion right after that one gateway. Might want to go up to 3 gateways and then expand. Might even want to go for the super safe route. Go for 2 gates and a robo, and just play standard from there. So at this point, a lot of Marines heading over the map for Fade, just having a look around, trying to spot anything that is going on, and HuK placing a pylon down here on the high ground, maybe wanting to put on a little bit of pressure to begin with. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some 3-gate pressure, which is very common now in TVP, especially with kind of mass sentry play. But look at this, Fade is going to be trying to secure an economical advantage early on, and that's, a great play from Fade there. It can be really easy for Terran to kind of secure that if the needs be, and this Marine was patrolling up here but hasn't seen this just yet. He only scouted the low ground. A lone stalker now going to be moving out for HuK, along with this probe here, just to spot the high ground for a second. This stalker's probably going to be pushed away quite easily at this point. Fade really kind of doing a good job keeping his Marines alive there, and once this bunker finishes, that is going to keep him very safe indeed. Don't want to lose that stalker just yet, HuK, though. Doing a little bit of typing at the same time. Wants to probably move that one Marine back there, as it is a little weak. Oh, but that Marine could die. No, HuK gonna poke in, does kill that Marine, yes. And then tries to have a few more pot shots. Just the shield's now weakening there. But meanwhile, back in the base of HuK, we do have 2 gateways going down. Looking to expand here. But again, I'm pretty sure we're going to see some kind of 3-gate aggression. Again, I see this so much in PvT nowadays. And if you get the right kind of placement of force fields, with that being said, he does have a second bunker coming up. But if you do get the right placement of force fields just across this back line of bunkers, it can make it extremely hard for the Terran to actually hold some kind of 3-gate aggression if you do time it well. So we'll have to see if Fade can hold anything that does come along. Look, more sentries going to be warping in up at the top here. 3 more sentries in fact, and you know, if you chrono boost these gateways, he quite easily could have a lot more units out very quickly in order to be able to chew through the defenses of a Terran, and loading that second bunker up there just to fortify himself. And I'm thinking with these 2 bunkers he's going to be in a pretty good position. He does have stim on the way and a factory as well, so very standard play here from Fade, but that's sort of the hallmark of good players. You know, you don't need to do anything kind of like secret. You don't need to go for any cheesy play or whatever. Just go for a standard solid build. If you can get someone into a macro game, and if you feel your macro is just as strong as theirs, then you've got all the chances in the world to actually win. That being said, this is EGHuK, an absolutely masterful Protoss. So he has just got his, wow, look at how that transfer there, and you know, similar counts in the base of himself, but at the same time looks like we're going to have a little bit of a push here. I would like to see some Zealots in this composition to kind of soak a lot of the Marine damage. They do so well against Marines when it comes to soaking the damage, but that being said, these Stalkers do have the same amount of armor that they would do with the Guardian Shield as well. So, you know, Fade was able to actually hold that off pretty well. HuK doesn't really want to commit to anything just yet. I think the big thing for HuK was he only thought there was 1 bunker at the top of this ramp. Maybe. I would rewind, but that would take a little bit of time, so can't bother with that. Oh, reinforcing with more Stalkers now. He's going to probably try and push up again, trying to focus down this 1 bunker by the looks of things. But again, he doesn't really have any Zealots to kind of tank this damage here whilst the sentries do the damage. Nice force field's going to be separating a few of these units, but really not that great. It's really hard to attack up this ramp in PVT on the Shakuras Plateau. So it looks like Fade's going to hold for now, wisely keeping a few of those SCVs there whilst the attack was going on, just to make sure he didn't have to keep pulling them back and forth between the mineral patches in order to be able to repair. And it looks like HuK's going to be falling back ever so slightly now. Meanwhile, though, a lot of tech has already gone down in the base of EGHuK. He does already have the robotics facility, Forge and Twilight Council on the way for potential upgrades. And at this point, does Fade have any upgrades out just yet for his ground army? No, not just yet, but that's one huge thing and a massive factor of PvT in general. You really kind of want to keep an eye on your upgrades, and especially your opponent's upgrades. Oh, we do have a Ghost Academy going down now for Fade, and you know, Ghosts are so strong against Protoss in general. You know, just weakening the shields and especially taking out all the energy of these sentries will be absolutely critical in a big engagement. But we see some essential upgrades coming out now for the Protoss. We do have armor on the way, being chrono boosted there. Zealot charge as well. Not many Zealots out just yet, but ultimately if he can get those Zealots out, he's going to be in a fantastic position to be able to hold this off. Which you know, Fade looks to be gearing up for a little bit of aggression here. He does have an engineering bay on the way as well, and we do have a lone Marine going to be scouting as to whether there is a 3rd or 4th here. Interesting placements of these pylons, no doubt to be able to spot any kind of drop shenanigans that do go on, but at the same time HuK has come into this base and he's going to see pretty much everything that is going on in the base of Fade. Does see that Ghost Academy there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see our Templar Archives going down anytime soon. That would indeed ward him very nicely from that kind of Ghost play. But at the same time, that lone Marine that was scouting up to the north did get taken out by that Stalker there. Did he see all these pylons? I'm thinking he did, but it doesn't matter too much right now. So it looks like Fade's just going to be gearing up for what looks like a pretty impressive push right now. He does have these 5 medevacs out, and that's going to increase the longevity of his army so much. But the big thing he needs to worry about is, will he get those Marines pinned behind, you know, against force fields, and will the Zealots come into play with their charge? We do have +1 on the way for Fade right now, a little bit behind on that. You really want to keep up with the Protoss on that armor, otherwise, you know, if the armor gets too crazy, it becomes really bad for the Terran. And look at this, we do have a hidden base going down for EGHuK here, so he's looking to take kind of an economic advantage behind the presence of a potential threatening push from the Terran. I think HuK realizes that this may be coming very soon and wants to try and sneak in some more economy whilst just barely holding this push. And I think that might indeed happen. We do have Blink on the way for HuK as well, so going very, very heavy on the gateway units. And oh, High Templars are already out, but no Storm right now. He's going to be looking for those money feedbacks on those Ghosts. Going to be so important in this position. Doesn't want all his army clumped up, and indeed he's doing a great spread here. A big feedback goes back off of them on one of those Ghosts, but at the same time EMPs do go off on that. He's going to have to morph in that Archon, but a big stim going down there. Going to be committing to this attack as much as possible. Really love to, yeah, there we go. The Guardian Shields are up. Will we see any force fields trying to pin these units back? No, we do not. Stim once again does come out, and then there's the money force fields, dividing a lot of these units, taking a lot out with those Zealots. But now the force fields do work against the Zealots ever so slightly, as once the ones die in the front of those force fields, the one in the back have reign over all of those Zealots. So ultimately force fields can be a bit of a double-edged sword. We do see HuK here in hot pursuit, for Psionic Storm on the way as well, but at this point you know, Fade does have quite a little bit of a supply lead here. Not looking to be expanding just yet, but there we go. We do have a command center on the way. So FadeSG here looking to kind of just expand this into a more of a macro game. Although he doesn't currently know about that hidden base up in the top corner here. So he really needs to get that expansion up and running in hopes of kind of keeping up with HuK at this point. He is going to be able to power ahead in the economy game if given the opportunity. Big stim now going down once again. This nice count of things. Oh, but another great feedback going down on that Ghost, which is just on a move command. And we do have an Archon morphing in once again. Zealot's going to be charging in here. Great Guardian use of Guardian Shield, just soaking up as much of this damage as possible. And nice use of those force fields again. But oh my god, HuK's army is whittling ever so slightly. They're going to be stimming up once again, trying to get around those force fields. Really wants to take out those sentries as quickly as possible in order to negate as many of those force fields. And once again, really nice force fields. These Archons are able to rip apart those units. But Fade picking up the units with those medevacs, going to be bringing them behind those force fields. Great use of those medevacs there. And, you know, this is getting a bit touchy for HuK. Fade is continuing to reinforce here, and maybe that hidden base wasn't such a good idea at this point, but considering, you know, that hidden base has been up for so long, if he can get to a point where he holds this off, and it looks like he's going to hold it off, you know, he's going to be in such a great economical lead. So now this engagement's going to happen once again, just blinking back to save a lot of those Stalkers right there. And looks like Fade's going to be landing his command center as quickly as possible. He realizes he's got a lot of aggression going on here, and HuK has got no hopes of actually putting on any pressure just yet. Snipe going down on some of those High Templar, that's a great move. And EMP's going down on those Archons just before the Ghosts die, and continuing this stutter step micro, just going to push back as quickly as possible. And this medevac count is getting pretty high, but blinking, nice use of blink, going to be trying to take out a few of those medevacs as best he can. And now it looks like Fade is in a bit of a bad spot. He has lost the majority of his army here. Going to have to run back with these medevacs, try and save as much as possible. And the Stalkers in hot pursuit going to blink up, maybe get that medevac. No, they're actually not. And so now it looks like, does he see this? He doesn't, but at the same time, you know, a lot of units going to be coming in from the side here for Fade. Once again, he's macroing like an absolute boss. And we do have another command center on the way for Fade, and he was able to hold that kind of like counter-attack really well, just with the sheer macro going on in the back of his base. So good play there by HuK, but at the same time, good play by Fade. You're able to kind of just hold that as best as he possibly can. We do have +1 weapons on the way now for HuK, and Psionic Storm was finished just briefly, well, a bit ago even, but now we have Mobius Reactor coming out for those Ghosts, and if they get enough energy, they're going to be able to blanket storm the units of Fade. But actually getting a Ghost there, which was a pretty nice snipe for just one Stalker at that point. And it looks like HuK is going to be able to retreat pretty well with these Blink Stalkers. Probably going to go down to this high ground and then just kind of bait the units away. But at the same time, this pylon has finally been noticed. Wow, that took certainly a long time in there. And HuK, you know, behind this has been able to macro a pretty damn good force himself. This planetary fortress is indeed going to make this expansion here invincible. But HuK is going to have to kind of find a way to kind of deter this macro style of Fade right now. Otherwise, he's going to be in a bad spot as Bio just rips apart gateway units with that medevac and Ghost kind of accompaniment. So EGHuK behind this is going to be expanding to this third, fourth-ish location, and meanwhile, you know, Fade really wants to get his fourth up as well. He has caught up in the income, if we can just look at that there, doing a very fine job of macroing, but at the same time, more Stalkers going to be trying to blink in there, try and take out a few units, but we do have Cloak on the way for those ghosts, and that's going to be a big deal if he can get some good EMPs off on this entire army here. And meanwhile, we did have a Warp Prism doing something, but it took significant amounts of damage because the High Templar in it are pretty damaged there, and probably going to be dropping these on the high ground, maybe trying to get a storm. We do see a few storms there going down, but great reaction times from Fade there, able to kind of keep up with that, and maybe we're going to see, oh, a huge EMP does go off on the army, all Guardians shielded up though, and now it's going to rely on the stutter set micro to take out as much of this army as possible. This force is still pretty scary at the same time though by EGHuK, as a lot of this force has been weakened. The Medivacs cannot catch up to heal, and this Warp Prism here probably going to try and drop on the high ground once again, maybe to do some storms, we'll have to see, but you know, at this point Fade is, you know, his army is strong and big, but you know, it's so weak right now. He's going to have to wait to heal this up a lot, but oh my god, look at all these ghosts. We do have 7 ghosts here. If he can get blanket EMPs off on this army, that could be absolutely huge. This Warp Prism here just sat once again. The ghost is going to be coming along to take this out, and EMPing those wisely, they could have done a significant amount of damage to that ghost army, as there was so clumped up at that point. We could have seen a Psionic Storm or even a few feedbacks there to do significant damage. So now we do have a Robo Bay on the way, as well as a second Robo facility. It looks like EGHuK's going to want to switch into Colossus after seeing not a lot of Vikings at all. In fact, 0 Vikings, which will be a great tech switch if he can pull it off. But now, ooh, all these ghosts are cloaked. They could get significant amounts of EMPs. Oh, and huge EMPs do rain down on this Protoss army. The Stutter Step is now coming out, but all these ghosts are still cloaked. They're doing so much damage to these Zealots, as they do so much damage to those light units. And now Fade is just going to be able to push up into this position, but the Stalkers on the high ground going to be blinking down, sandwiching these units. But is it enough? EGHuK just kind of offensive blinking in all directions, and I'm really not sure that's the best idea. Offensive blink, you have to be absolutely sure you're going to win the battle, but these Marauders chew up those Stalkers so quickly now, and reinforcing with even more units at this point. Going to be able to take out that Robo-Bow, which is huge, and we do have a Viking in production very quickly there from Fade in order to be able to deal with any kind of Colossus numbers that do come out. Does take down that Nexus. The force field has gone down on this ramp though, but he could probably bring them up with these Medivacs in order to be able to kind of just finish this off here. And he does load up into the Medivacs. Will this be the killing blow for Fade against EGHuK here? They're going to be taking out a lot of these units. Feedbacks do go rain down on these Medivacs, but they didn't have enough to really weaken them. And now Fade is in such a fantastic position to be able to take out this base. I'm really not sure what EGHuK can do here. A lot of the pros going to be pulled off in order to try and deny this from doing any more damage at all. More High Templars going to be warping in here, but the Archon's going to be morphing in, as he really doesn't think he's going to have enough energy for Storm in a given amount of time. A little bit of lag there, sorry, but these gateways are now going to go down, and we do have a lot of units in the back here. Feedback going down on a few of those ghosts, and EGHuK GG's. Oh my god. So that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen, for FadeSG. Big congrats to him for beating EGHuK on ladder, but obviously, you know, it's just ladder. EGHuK could have been tired or whatever, but nevertheless, your FadeSG, you know, good game, good game. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for this Kaelaris broadcast. If you would like to check more out for me, please go to twitter.com at Kaelaris. I've changed it from Kale Starcraft because that was just confusing. And yeah, just please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you very much, and bye for now.